Hey, how you doing, huh? My amp unit, top of the morning, salute. This is indeed the Amped Up with BC podcast for Friday, March 17th, 2023. Come on in, I don't bite, not at first anyway. We are celebrating St. Paddy's Day today. BC's got the Green Bay green on, even though it's sad times with what is going on with Aaron Rodgers being traded to the other green team, the Jets. But if you celebrate St. Paddy's Day, I believe it's celebrated worldwide in over 200 countries. The fact that there is 200 plus countries is mind-boggling. But if you're not Irish, maybe you know somebody that is. BC is Italian and Irish. Probably explains why I'm so amplified. So if you are celebrating, you know somebody that is. Happy St. Paddy's Day to everybody out there. On your way in, smash that up. Truly appreciate it. Helps the algorithm. Or not. If you don't, it's 10 years of bad luck. Nope. Too late. You already fucking heard the words. If you didn't smash the up, it's 10 years of shit. I guess that would mean if you did smash the up, I guess you're getting 10 years of good luck, right? I guess that's what that means. Everyone's going to go out and start playing lottery tickets. Shit. Powerball just went up another million. But in all seriousness, man, to everybody, first and foremost, man, we have a packed show today, man. I mean a packed, amped up podcast today to really jumpstart the weekend. But for last night, I got to give a big shout out and a big thank you to my entire Red Team. Red Team, go, man. BC does not get to do many live streams. I'm just very busy, so when I have time to cut an amped up podcast, it's usually at all odd hours, and I'm just thankful I can get it out to you guys at a reasonable time. Last night, I was able to go live on short notice, less than a half an hour. And there were so many channel members, man. So many gold cards I saw in the chat. So awesome to see, because the fact that I don't get to do these often enough, and I have so much respect and love for those channel members, the fact that you guys, most of you anyway, knew that I was live. We were missing a few, the Dave Mealy's, the TJ Baines, a lot of the channel members that really contributed big time to the channel in the past. I didn't see them up front, but we had a lot of channel members in there. The James Shrimp Fajitas, WWE, AEW Marvel fan, Dante, Ty. A lot of channel members represented last night. Jimmy Fingers 19, Ashley Steggles throwing mad coffees at the channel last night. My right-hand man, JR9 Gaming, I put him to work, and he was cracking it out of the park left and right. Dino's got me doing the AEW referee Macarena. It was a wild live stream last night, and it's so cool. On less than a half an hour notice, when I am not known, I am not one of those content creators that does a ton of these live streams, you guys fucking showed up big time, man, and I appreciate that huge. And even if you didn't catch it live, I know that once it hit the algorithm, we had a few thousand people to be able to catch that sense. We are headed toward 500 on the ups on that one. So big live stream last night, man, on short notice, and I hadn't done one in a while. So I want to give a big thank you to you guys. My red team up front, especially my gold team, man. I saw you guys repping last night. I saw a lot of gold cards, bro. Salute. We rock it, man. That's how BC knows. No matter how much the tube tries to suppress the channel, right? They don't want us to grow. We're the little ECW controversial channel. But when it's all said and done, you have a night like last night. A wild stream like that, man. And you are quickly reminded, we the ones in this community. All the rest, they are distant twos. Now, for this show, guys, packed, as I said, we're going to get to Wade Barrett. Big news dropped by Wade Barrett recently as it pertains to his duties on SmackDown. And it doesn't sound like Pat McAfee was too thrilled about these words. And Pat McAfee actually responds to this chatter going on about his name. And we're going to get to that. And Pat McAfee drops a little bit of a bombshell, actually, about his WWE future. We're also going to talk about the latest WrestleVotes report. You know, that's always fun because it's always some obnoxiously, painfully obvious reporting that any 5-year-old could come up with, right? It's the type of reporting that isn't in line with the sky is blue, the grass is green, and Meltzer loves to give a lot of stars to AEW matches. It's common sense, but we call it reporting by WrestleVotes. I don't know. But it's funny, so we're going to talk about it. But there's only one way to start this off. There is a great divide in AEW right now. And I'm not talking about just the talent. I'm talking about at the top of the heap, the generals in command. There is a great divide on what AEW is. I don't think they know what it is. And that's probably why most of the wrestling world does not know what AEW is, because the powers that be don't. BC, what are you talking about? I'm glad you asked. Swig of coffee. Oh, we gonna talk about it. BC, what do you mean, man? What do you mean? How are they not on the same page? How are the generals in AEW? How is there a great divide? Well, let's start from the jump, right from the beginning when AEW first came into play. You guys remember what it was founded upon, right? That's when wrestling was really big Japan-wise anyway. Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, there was a lot of names that never really had WWE recognition, but they were getting really big over there in Japan. And then you had guys like Cody Rhodes go over there and make a big splash and a name for himself. And then you have Tony Khan come into play, and this is no shade at all. I'm sure he would, in a way, call it down the middle what he is, right? A mega mark. Tony Khan is a mega mark, no question. He's a big fan, went to all of the events back in the day, paid so much money on pro wrestling to WWE and Vince McMahon. And he's got this multi-billion-dollar backing from his father, Shad. And he comes into contact with the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes, and they form this in Omega, and they form AEW. And from the jump, the Young Bucks said that AEW, it's not about competition or a war with WWE. It's nothing like that. It's to showcase talents that otherwise wouldn't be able to be showcased. Because stateside, anyway, there's only one big show. Well, different big show. The WWE is the only big conglomerate company stateside. So they want to show talent, you know, that's all around the world and show people that WWE is not the only game in town necessarily, right? But it's not about competition. It's not about a war. They don't want you even focusing on that. It's just focus on the talents that we're bringing over. We're going to be different, right? Omega backed that up. Omega said from day one, it's not about competition. It's not about a war. He says, we are literally an alternative. He was one of the first ones to coin the phrase alternative, right? We're going to showcase talents you might not see. That's what AEW, that's the foundation of AEW. But what happens is you kind of call BS on that because whether you like it or not, once you have $1 billion backing, once you get a TV contract, a cable prime time television show, whether you like it or not, you're now competition. Your advertisers are going to want you to compete with the people that are in your market. Your network is going to be closely keeping a keen eye on your competition, which in your market would be World Wrestling Entertainment. Tony Khan has shown you from day one, he is the first person to see the Thursday morning ratings for Wednesday night's Dynamite. First person, because he knows. It's cute when people in the community go, ratings don't matter. Why do people care? Just enjoy the wrestling. Oh, if you saw how fast Tony Khan was trying to check those numbers. He's like on his fucking computer every fucking morning or on his fucking phone, just nonstop clicking reset, reload, until the numbers pop up. That's how much ratings matter. He knows the advertisers, the networks, man. It all hinders on that. No matter how many people leave cable for streaming, no matter if about DVR, none of that, man. There's still a huge demand for live television on big screen TVs. NFL football has shown us that again with a 10% increase yet again for their ratings. People want to go to their big screen and watch their television. Now, on top of that, it's a natural progression to want to compete and think that your product is at least just as good. But Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks truly felt that that's what they were creating with AEW. It's the alternative, and they want to show the world, or at least the US especially, that this is out there. It's not all just WWE. And then what happened is you learn quickly, like Tony Khan did, that it is very much competition, whether you like it or not. And you are kind of forced to bring in somebody like Chris Jericho from the jump. Chris Jericho was brought in, and everything changed pretty instantly. Chris Jericho, a WWE guy, man. He's a sports entertainer personified. And I use that loosely because pro wrestling is sports entertainment and vice versa. It's all the same, guys. Way before Vince McMahon took over control of WWE from his father, it was always sports entertainment. It's one of the phrases that Vince McMahon created that actually is 1,000,000,000% accurate. I love it. It's what wrestling is. It is a little bit of sport. Of course, you don't have the legit winner and loser, so you can't call it an actual. But there is so much athleticism, and there is combat, staged or not. But it's entertainment, of course, and that's where that comes into play. But it's all one of the same. But you find out quickly, Chris Jericho was there for one big mission. He wanted to defeat WWE, and everything Chris Jericho did and said seemed to have revolved around WWE. When metrics or ratings were spiking or pretty damn good, you would hear that chatter over about WWE. He would take those zingers, those one-liners, those jabs. He would go on to call himself the Demo God. He was always talking about being competition. Even when they just started, he was talking about competition. Immediately, there was a little bit of a rift there, right? As far as what is AEW. And it really confused a lot of people. You have top talent, executive vice presidents that continue to say we are an alternative. We're not about that competition life. And then you continue to have Chris Jericho stamp and ground his flag deep and say that we absolutely are competition and we coming for that ass. And then recently, Tony Khan blew it all out of the water when he said, we get slammed a lot for not having storylines, but that's false. We have a lot of storylines. And he is right, by the way. WWE and AEW have a ton of storylines. They're just not executed properly. And that's the reason there's no care, interest, or build to any type of intrigue. So they have lots of storylines. It's just not interesting, most. But Tony Khan says, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, our biggest storyline that the fans love is our war with the WWE, because we are competition, and we are in a war with WWE, and our fans realize that, they get a sense of that, and they really get intrigued by that. That was Tony Khan's words, a little bit of paraphrasing, but he said, we are competition, we are in a war with WWE. Wait, what? This goes against what your EVPs are saying. You're in a war with WWE, and he says, and this is where the disconnect is, it's not just with the top of the echelon of AEW, it's with the fans. Because a lot of the fans like to think that they're just an alternative. Oh, enough with the WWE talk, we're an alternative, right? But then your boss of AEW, not the fans' boss, but the head guy for the company that they love, right? Diehard, tried and true AEW fans, AEW, right? Your owner is saying that you love this imaginary war with WWE. That's your competition. Even with 852,000 viewers on your flagship Wednesday Night Dynamite, which is a third of what SmackDown pulls. Less than half of even Monday Night Raw, how bad that's been for 10 years. but they call themselves competition, and then they say they're in a war with WWE, but the fans are saying, no, we're not. But Tony Khan is saying, yes, we are. And the Bucks and Omega are saying, we're not competition. And Chris Jericho is saying, yes, we are. There's a conflict, man. Nobody knows what AEW is. You say, well, BC, it's a little bit of everything, right? It's like a cookie jar that has the chocolate chip cookie, it has the sugar cookie, it has the frosted cookie, it has the lemon cookie, you got a little bit of molasses in there. Who the fuck put the molasses cookies in there? That's gross. You got the Girl Scout cookies. Somebody accidentally put some Starburst in there, even though it's a cookie jar. What schmuck put Starburst in there? We'd love to know. Was it Nia Jax? Nia! It's everything, BC. It's everything, man. It's everything. Everybody relax. It can be everything. No, it can't. When you start a company, if you ever do, I hope you guys out there, I hope there's people out there that start a beautiful company, make hundreds of thousands of dollars at first, and eventually millions of dollars. I wish you guys the best of success. And if you smash that up on the way in, well, you got the next 10 years of good luck. If you didn't smash the up, well, you ain't going to start no business because you got 10 years of shit coming. I'm just playing. I'm joking. Relax. I wish you guys the best. I really do, man. Start a business, make tons of money, and have fun. Hire people, right? Make other people's lives easier. Awesome. What you're going to learn quickly is you have to have a mission statement. Every company has a mission statement when they begin. Who are you as a company? What are you? What were you created for? What is your goal? What is your purpose? It is called a mission statement. AEW's mission statement is a bunch of absolute, absurd, obnoxious, inside-out BS. We are an alternative to showcase what you don't see normally in the States, while simultaneously being competition currently in a war with said alternative company. What kind of twisted BS is that? That is a horrible mission statement. And the fact that here we are with ratings going backwards, unfortunately, I have to say this again. The top niche audience for AEW has been 950 for the longest time. Once in a blue moon, they hit 1 million, if Tony Khan announces an announcement. But for the most part, around 950. And then this past month, we saw something drastic. It is now 850 is the new top niche. So they lost 100,000 of their own diehard fans. And we talked a lot yesterday, WWE, NXT, AEW, like pro wrestling. We're 2 weeks away from WrestleMania, guys. 2 weeks from today is WrestleMania weekend. And all the numbers for all the shows are going backwards. There's no hype. There's no interest. Why? And that was a big part of yesterday's live stream. Trying to figure out together with my amplified unit, how could we have gotten to this point and this bad before WrestleMania, which is peak season for pro wrestling. And it doesn't even feel it. And there's some matches on WrestleMania that I'm looking forward to, man. But the wrestling world is kind of like just not feeling it. And for AEW, one of the things that we kind of overlook is the top of the mountain. The guys at the top, if they're not in sync with one another, if their mission statement isn't in line, all their ducks are not in a row together, then how do you think your talent is going to fall in line? How do you think your audience is going to look at you? Or much worse, how about your non-audience, the people you're trying to become your audience, right? Casual fans, or people who are coming across, stumbling upon AEW and trying to figure out what they are. And they see the Bucks saying one thing, Omega saying another, Tony Khan says another, Jericho says another. You can't blame Cody Rhodes for wanting to get the hell out. Cody Rhodes saw the ship was sinking slowly but surely, and he's like, well, I got to get off this ship while there's still time, right? I'm not going to wait till we hit the iceberg. I'm jumping off now. And people get upset with Kenny Omega because he's not committing to AEW, right? And he's thinking at least about WWE. Well, I don't blame him at all. The dude's near or at 40 years old, something like that. His body is breaking down. I mean, he's never been to see if the grass is greener on the other side. Have a few matches with Finn Balor and AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes over on the big stage. Why not? He's got none because it's conflicting, right? He literally, Kenny Omega just cut another interview, and he is staying, just like the Bucks, they're staying steadfast in their belief. Kenny Omega says, in professional wrestling, there are a lot more people doing it than you'd probably realize. And there are a lot of people with a lot of big dreams that just don't have the platform to show just how talented they are. He says, AEW for me is being able to show the world some of the men and women who maybe wouldn't have had a voice or wouldn't have had the stage to show what they do best. Kenny Omega says again, and I quote, I think it has allowed for just, I would say, more variety. That's why I will never say that we went into this to compete with WWE. I just want to give people the option to see things that are different stories that you might not be able to see there. He never went into, that speaks volumes. This is a guy whose contract is up in the next few months. He's undecided with his future. And he is telling you, I never got into this to be competition. And he right now is in deep with it. Jericho is the locker room leader more than Bryan Danielson, more than Mox. Chris Jericho is the locker room leader, and he is the biggest advocate to take WWE on head on and be competition. And Tony Khan literally thinks he's in an all-out war with the WWE. I don't know. I mean, maybe business-wise, he does see metrics where he thinks that, but he's far away from that. I totally agree. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have to be competition. Advertisers, networks, you're going to have to be. But Jericho speaks so freely and has so much fun with it that guys like Kenny Omega and Young Bucks, they feel like what they felt was the mission statement is being chucked to the side of the road, man, and being fucking crushed and rode over by Mack trucks, 18-wheelers. And then you have Tony Khan just backing up what Jericho says and says, we're not just competition, we're in an all-out war, and our fans love this war with WWE. Meanwhile, a lot of the fans are saying, no, we're not even what? We don't want to be in a war with WWE. We're trying to be the alternative. But it's all, it's all contradictory anyway, right? It's all hypocrisy because how many times has AEW mentioned WWE? A lot, or at least allude to them, right? But you can mention them a lot and just still not want to just be all-out competition. But Tony Khan and Chris Jericho are on one side of the fence. Bucks and Omega are on another side of the fence, guys. They just are. I'm not saying that the Bucks and Omega wouldn't want to be great competition because it will showcase what they have built. But it's two different sides of the fence right now. Jericho and Tony Khan seem to really be just trying to get at WWE. And Bucks and Omega and those type of individuals are literally just trying to be an alternative. And that doesn't work because they're executive vice presidents. And that's why you already saw one EVP say, I got to get out. This isn't working. And when you bring in certain people, your company isn't the same anymore. You start off one way, and then you got to be careful who you allow on the ship. Some people, when you bring them onto the ship is actually going to be a much better sail, all right? It's going to be a better time. Everybody's going to enjoy this much more because you brought the right people on. Sometimes you bring the negative ones onto the ship, and if you ain't careful, man, they will sink the ship. And Cody Rhodes, you got to be smart and get the fuck off. You could say Jericho did a lot of good for AEW. But as far as the original mission statement and what a lot of the people that started AEW, it's not exactly how they saw this thing going. And a lot of fans have said after 4 years, enough. I don't like where AEW is headed. I don't want any part of this war, supposedly. And ever since the statement, Tony Khan made that statement a month ago. I'm not saying this is the only reason, guys. You also like fake big announcements and you end up saying it's a reality show coming and that's the big announcement. So you actually piss your own fans off by stringing them along so many times. The boy that cried wolf, basically. How many big announcements can you have? And none of them are ever big. So it's many factors. But when he cut that line and he said, oh, we're competition and our fans love this war with WWE, it was from that point on they started getting about 850 some odd thousand, 824, 833. 858 last week, 852 this week. You start losing your audience when they don't know what you are, or when you are no longer, true to yourself and what you were founded upon, what they first believed in. It's okay to change over time, no question. You start one way and you develop, you grow, you mature, you get amplified. I love it. And that's natural progression. But you can't lose your mission statement. And I don't know if they ever had one. And if they did, it was always separate. So the conversation, we didn't really have this type of a conversation in last night's stream. And I really wanted that to be the focal point here, guys, because we kind of missed that. The guys at the top, it's the same reason why WWE has been in the shitter for the better part of 10 years. Because the guy at the top, Vince McMahon, at one point in his career, you could say he was a genius. He's the reason pro wrestling was so hot for so many years and even decades. I get it. I'll absolutely agree to a lot of that. But Vince McMahon was also the biggest reason why WWE has failed to fans to deliver intriguing, exciting shows and an intriguing, exciting, I can fucking, let me get another swig, exciting product for the last 10 years. Business-wise, Vince is making record revenue, right? But for the fans, we've been getting a absolute redundant product. Monday Night Raw, there's a reason you fell all the way to 1-7, and it's not because of football. It's not because people are cord cutting or going to streaming services. No, they'll still go and watch wrestling on cable. You just got to give them a reason. Vince McMahon never gave them that fucking reason, not for 10 years. And that's why so many fans have left in droves. But prices have been raised up. Your tried and trues have stayed so damn loyal. You got the casuals when you needed to. But now we're starting to see something. WrestleMania is 2 weeks away. Raw just pulled a 1-7. They were 2,000 viewers away from being in the 1-6s 2 weeks before Mania. It doesn't even look like casual fans give any fucks about WrestleMania this year. So we're starting to see that the tides are turning. And that's a ripple effect AEW. When WWE is doing really good, AEW is. When WWE is starting to shit the bed, you're going to see that in AEW and every other promotion. Whether you like it or not, WWE succeeding means success for everyone else. When WWE is not succeeding, it means no one else is. That dips all the way down to content creators, journalists, critics, you name it. And we see it time and time again. And this is a conversation that has to be had. Vince McMahon was what helped develop really shitty programming for the last 10 years for WWE. And if you're going to lose 100,000 of your core audience for AEW, which they just recently did, they're down to the 850s now. You got to start at the top, just like we did with WWE. It's Vince's fault. A lot of people are like, it's Bruce Pritchard's fault. It's John Laurinaitis' fault. People power. Oh, you mean it's my fault? I'm just trying to give people the power. Does anyone want power, or what people want the power? It's not John Laurinaitis. It's not I love you. They were just the yes men. Same as Paul 3H's Levesque to Vince for decades now. It's the guy at the top. If your product is so bad for so long, you blame the guy at the top. If every day you go into your favorite restaurant and your eggs are not how they want it, you want over easy and they come out scrambled every freaking day, and every day you go to the chef or the cook, he's not a chef, he's the cook, and you say, well, I ordered over easy just like every day for the last 2 months, and every day you're giving me scrambled or hard boiled. And the cook is like, okay, tomorrow I'll make it right. And then next day he gives you fucking scrambled again. At what point do you finally go to the boss and say, you are to blame for that? You hired them. You're not paying attention to your business clearly. And I'm no longer going here. right? At some point, expressing your problems to the general manager or the manager is only going to get you so far. You're going to have to go to the boss. It's his problem. He's the reason. He hired the wrong people. He's not caring. He's not noticing. He's not paying attention to his business. It's Vince McMahon. On this channel, we always blame the guy at the top, Vincent Kennedy. In this case, you got to blame the guys at the top. Tony Khan, executive vice presidents, locker room leaders. And they all have a different answer as to what AEW is. At some point, you got to get on the same page. Omega goes to WWE, and then it's just the Bucks with their mission statement against Chris Jericho and Tony Khan. Bucks are going to say they're in an alternative brand, and Jericho's going to say they are competition. Tony's going to say they're in a war. And Bucks will say, can we just go out there and wrestle, please? Or we will go to WWE too. We're going to follow Cody and Omega. Could you imagine if all the EVPs by the year 2025 are all in WWE? And could you blame them? Because this is not the AEW that everybody thought they were going to have and see 4 years down the road. Well, we're 4 years down the road, and this is the AEW. And they started, their very first AEW Dynamite was a 1.4-ish, right? I believe they pulled around a 1.4, maybe even a little bit more rating. You hope to grow. Slowly but surely, you grow from that 1.4. Maybe at first you dip a little, back to 1.2 maybe. 1.1, ooh, that's a little much, but... And then, okay, year 3, definitely by year 4, you get past that 1.4, maybe 1.5, slow growth. No, guys, we're 4 years down the road, and they're pulling 850. Now, if you do your math, that's over 550. Some weeks closer to 600. Well, they just pulled 824 a couple weeks ago. Close to 600,000 viewers have left from the debut episode of Dynamite just 4 years ago. A little less than 4 years ago. 600,000 viewers no longer watch. They pull in just over 800,000 now. That's almost half the audience, guys. 1.4 million, so 700,000 is half. 600,000 have left. We're 100,000 viewers away from half of your audience no longer watches. That's a problem. And all BC is saying is it starts at the top. Before you blame talent or anybody else, let's start at the top. And if their mission statement isn't the same or they're not in line with one another, at least somewhat in sync, then guess what? Your talent, your fans will also not be in sync with you. They will not be aligned. And there's a fracture in your company. There's clearly a lack of transparency with Tony Khan and his EVPs and the top tier of his talent, the locker room leaders. That's clear by everything they have been telling you for 4 years. They're not on the same page. And when the leaders are not on the same page, it's a ripple down effect. Shit always falls down from the top. You can blame storylines all you want, of course. There is stories, but they're not executed properly. Same problem WWE has for the most part. You can blame characters, right? They don't have larger-than-life characters in AEW. I agree with you. I agree, but if you look at the title picture right now, they just brought in Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara for some type of four-way with MJF. Now, as much as we respect and love guys like Jungle Boy, or maybe you don't, but a lot of people respect Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara. Are they larger than life? Do they really move the needle? I don't know about larger than life. I mean, if you add all three of them together, they don't even equal a Yokozuna, right? I mean, Yokozuna was larger than life. If Yokozuna's walking through a mall or through Stop and Shop, you're in awe. Your jaw is dropped, whether you know it's Yokozuna or not. Darby Allin going through a mall or a Stop and Shop, you're probably going to walk right by him. A lot of you guys are probably bigger than him. Jungle Boy, Sammy. And I'm not saying size is everything, by the way. You may look at Shawn Michaels as larger than life. You may look at Bret Hart as larger than life. You may look at Chris Jericho or an Eddie Guerrero as larger than life. I guess that's in the eye of the beholder. When I think larger than life, I'm thinking Hulk Hogan, right? He's going through a mall. He's wearing his red and yellow at all times. I mean, he lived his character. He's got the stash. He's a big dude, Hulk Hogan, too, in real life. I mean, you stop. Your jaw's dropped. Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage, Undertaker in a mall or at a Stop and Shop, right? Walking through a hallway at a hotel or some shit. Undertaker, man. Yokozuna, you know? And then you see, like, today's title picture in AEW, and you have guys like Darby Allin. Let me check my let's see. Let's actually add up their weights. I wonder if they are a Yokozuna. Let me check my list. I got all these stats for you guys, man. I have all these, people call me useless stats, but see, sometimes I like to tap into it. So a Darby Allin is 100 and this is a build weight. We don't know if it's real or not. They probably add about 5 pounds, a lot of these wrestlers. Darby Allin is billed at 175 pounds. Jungle Boy is billed at 167 pounds. Sammy Guevara is billed at 195 pounds. If you add all that together, my Steiner math says that is 537 pounds. So all the number one contenders for MJF's title, this Fatal 4-Way, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, if you add up their weight, it is 537 pounds. Yokozuna was 589 pounds. So Zuna is 47, 57, 67, 77, 87, 52 pounds more. Yokozuna was 52 pounds more than Darby, Jungle Boy, and Sammy together. Again, I'm not saying size necessarily matters, but we're talking larger than life. Like when their music hits, when they come through the curtain, are you in awe? Right? Hogan or Stone Cold or The Rock or Undertaker. I mean, when you used to be in awe. Like, who in AEW is really doing that? Mox is a main event top tier talent, no doubt. But Mox isn't larger than life, right? Chris Jericho? Is he? Eye of the beholder. Is Chris Jericho larger than life, do you think? Who in AEW is larger than life? Not just a top tier talent, guys. Not just a main eventer. Not somebody that gets a good reaction. Larger than life. Jaw drop. You're in awe if you walk by them in a hallway at the hotel or in a Stop and Shop or at a mall. You're in awe. Like, who would really do that? Much respect to Darby, Jungle Boy, and Sammy, by the way. You guys know 2 out of the 3 I'm actually high on. I like Sammy and Jungle Boy a lot. But not larger than life, not even close. And I don't even mind all 3 of them going for, and I usually hate schmaz matches. I think this makes sense. This is a nice bridge gap match. Just to lengthen the title reign for MJF and not just have fucking all these 10-star clanger matches. You know, settle it down for a second. Try to bump up some talent in the process. Sometimes there's victory in defeat. I think this will be one of those situations when MJF walks away with the title. I think Darby, Jungle Boy, and Sammy will be just fine, if not better. But they're not larger than life. So the point is, guys, what I'm saying is you can blame it on storylines and lack thereof, or lack of execution of the storylines. I totally agree. You can blame it that AEW doesn't have larger than life characters. I agree. But it starts at the top. The mission statement alone. They don't know what AEW is. They have no clue. They're still, after 4 years, they're still trying to find their identity. But you see, 4 years is not that long, man. You got to give it more time. Guys, that's a whole high school reign, man. Most high schools, anyway, go from about 9th grade to 12th grade, correct? Some schools are different. I know some people said like their school is 7th grade to 12th grade or some shit. I don't know. But a lot of high schools are basically 9th grade to 12th grade, 4 full years. If you're still trying to figure out 9th grade math the final month of your senior year, that's a problem. If you still can't conquer your 9th grade science test in your last month of senior year, that's a problem. If you still can't climb the rope that they had you try to climb in ninth grade during gym class, PE class. And here it is your senior year, and you still can't get any further up the rope than you did in ninth grade. That's a problem. 4 years is a long time. You don't have your mission statement in line, man. It starts at the top. That's the conversation I wanted to have on that, guys. And obviously, we went over 2.5 hours last night. So there's no way we could even begin to talk about how the top of AEW, as much as we don't want to say it because you may have so much respect for Tony Khan in creating AEW, so much respect for Jericho and what he has offered the wrestling world for decades. Big fan, right? Omega and Bucks, you may be huge fans and so appreciative of them helping the start of AEW. I get it. But you also have to blame them for where AEW is right now. They're lost. They don't know what they are. And sadly, a lot of the talent doesn't know what AEW is. And even sadder than that, or maybe just as, the fan base doesn't know what AEW is. We're an alternative. No, we're competition. We want nothing to do with WWE. No, we're in a war with them. And when the top generals are having this debate and discussion, what do you think fans are going to do? And then you see people online go, oh, keep WWE out of your mouth. Keep AEW out of your mouth. Stop mentioning them. We're not we're an alternative. Nuh-uh. The boss said you're in a war and you're absolutely competition. Your locker room leader said absolutely it's competition. They want to whoop some ass. Jericho said he wants to beat WWE. Literally said that. And then you wonder why fans talk about it, debate it. If you want that to change, you got to go to your leaders and tell them, hey, can you guys get on the same page? Big discussion that has to be had. Of course, BC's the only one that wants to talk about it because it has to be talked about, man. We're the only ones that are going to drop those type of truth bombs, that type of factual information. But it has to be discussed. And I wish more people had real conversations so that Tony Khan and them would understand, yeah, that's true, man. It doesn't come across like we're on the same page, does it? We're all saying the different thing from one another. Anyway, guys, that's I just wanted to put a big cap on last night's conversation with a big discussion on just how did AEW drop to where they are. A part of that is WWE dropping as well. And when WWE succeeds, everybody does. And when they don't, everybody feels the effect. But the other big part of that, you can actually blame the leaders of AEW, man. You have to. If your steak or your eggs are not the way you want it every fucking time, the cook is going to keep doing the same thing because nothing's going to change. You got to go to the leader, the top of the heap. Because that's the only way that'll change. They have to start changing it. They have to get in sync with one another. And I hope they do for everybody's sake. No question. Moving on, guys. Swig. And then I want to talk Wade Barrett and Pat McAfee. Oh, damn. McAfee's not too happy. Guys, Wade Barrett recently confirmed that he is locked in long-term with SmackDown and Michael Cole. He's going to be the commentator. He literally said Pat McAfee can come in every now and again, but it's his seat. So Barrett is making no bones about it. He wants everybody to know I'm not there to be a second fiddle. So what this did is it got everybody talking. Oh, shoot, McAfee's not coming back, man. Barrett is saying this is this is my house, fucking Paige Saraya. This is mine now. This is my seat. McAfee came right out, man, with a late last night, actually. I mean, McAfee's got a lot on his plate. McAfee sent out a statement. Listen to this. A lot of wrestling chatter about me right now. I think about wrestling every day. The dream isn't done. My business is currently rather active and exigent right now. I hope I said that word correctly. I didn't actually graduate high school. I did get a GED, though. My business is currently rather active. Plus, there's a baby on the way. Congratulations to McAfee and his wife, by the way. Timing is everything. I still have massive, and I mean, and he put that in caps, guys, massive. I still have massive plans for my journey to the WWE Hall of Fame someday. Believe that, period. So he starts that saying a lot of wrestling chatter about me right now. Of course, he's talking about the big confirmation that Barrett said, and the way that Barrett said it too. Wade Barrett said he can come over, but Pat can come every now and again, but it's my seat. And McAfee's like, hold up, I still have massive plans. And he's talking about a Hall of Fame induction in the future. Believe that, period. And when he says massive plans, that shit is all in caps. So, and when he says, I think about wrestling every day, the dream isn't done. This is a dude who's got a lot on his plate. So you got to believe that if he could, he would be on Friday night commentary every single Friday night. And you understand that. It hurts him that he can't be. If you guys ever had a chance to, even for like 2, 3, 5 minutes, jump into his podcast that he does on this platform, you know that he has so much on his plate and he's like burnt out. And he has said time and time again, he's burnt out. I mean, the FanDuel, he signed a $120 million FanDuel contract for just like 4 years or some shit. $120 million. He might have to walk away from it, guys, because he's got too much on his plate. That tells you how burnt out he is. For him to put out that statement and just clarify that it's not just that, I just said no and Barrett took my seat. No. He says, my business is currently rather active and there's a baby on the way. Timing is everything. It's almost like he's putting Barrett on notice. Dude, you got that seat because I said I can't be there right now. And he's tight with Michael Cole. The second that McAfee wants to come back, Barrett is going to have a different role or he's going to get Das Boot. And that's no disrespect to Barrett. He's been doing a phenomenal job. I've always liked Barrett. One of my favorite characters was actually short-lived. He was called Bad News Barrett. I'm afraid I got some bad news. I actually enjoyed that character. It was short-lived, unfortunately. I like Wade Barrett. But Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, man, that lit the wrestling world on fire when they got together, and everybody talked about how awesome that tandem was. College football game day came up, and he said after that he was so burnt out that he was pretty much going through the motions during his podcast on this platform. He was going through the motions a lot of days and kind of leaning on the shoulder of a lot of his dudes in the studio because that's how tired he was and burnt out. But Pat McAfee making sure everybody knows, because everybody started talking about this. Oh, shit, Barrett's saying this is mine now. He says there's a lot of chatter about me. I still have massive plans, and I will start my journey to the Hall of Fame someday soon. Believe that. McAfee, we have not seen the last of this dude. We hope the best for him, man. He's got so much, man. He just exploded real quick. He got so popular so damn quick, man. WWE job, college football game day, FanDuel, $120 million contract. How do you balance it all, right? This dude, awesome. And I will end it with a little bit of humor. WrestleVotes. When they put out a report, you just have to laugh before you even read it. Because it's not a report, it's not news, they don't know anything, they're not an insider. I don't even think there's a pic or a bio or a resume to go with WrestleVotes. Nobody knows what they are, nobody knows shit. It's just a fucking dude who sits on the fucking shitter in the morning, and while he's taking that morning shit, he's like, what stupid shit can I come up with today that the dirt sheets are gonna go with? I don't even know how they started rolling with this crap. But every time that WrestleDorks bring out something, it's always a laugh, right? Vince was going to bury Gunther. That was them. And of course, that's when Vince was pushing Gunther more than anybody at the time. He even put the IC title on him. But somehow, in the future, Gunther was going to be buried. These same wrestle numbnuts, the same people said, Gunther, just recently, Gunther is in line for a title opportunity soon. What the what's next? The sky is blue, the green is grass, Nia Jax probably shouldn't be a pro wrestler? Of course we know this. What do you mean Gunther is... Cody's most likely getting the title. How many heels do you think he's going to work with that are top tier? Gunther will lose his IC title roughly around the same time, maybe by SummerSlam. And of course, Gunther's going to be one of the top prospects to go for the title. What? That's not a news story. That's saying the obvious. If you said Ali's going for the championship soon, the heavyweight title, Mustafa Ali, okay, now you're breaking some news, and now we're going to be fucking watching the clock and waiting to call you out on the BS. But no, these idiots play it safe. They say something that's absolutely obnoxiously obvious, like Gunther's going to go for a world title soon. He's one of the ones next in line. And then recently, Butch, Triple H is giving Butch his name Pete Dunne back in the near future. Obviously! That's, if you've just been watching the product, following, you understand that's the trajectory they're on. Everybody else already got theirs for the most part. Doudrop became Piper Niven again. Theory got his first name. He's got his whole name back. Austin Theory. Max Male Model became LA Knight once again. And you could go down the line. Obviously, Butch is going to be Pete Dunne in the future. What? Again, sky blue, grass green. Meltzer loves to give AEW matches a lot of stars. Nia Jax isn't the greatest wrestler. What else can you possibly tell us while taking your morning shit? And then dirt sheets. Even sometimes reputable sources themselves. WrestleVotes confirms Triple H will soon be giving Butch his name Pete Dunne back. Obviously! That's stating the obvious. And that is leaving it so broad, by the way. So broad. Narrow it down. These are not news stories. It is so laughable, man. Whenever I see or hear something so obnoxiously, painfully obvious, I don't even have to question where it's from. It's the voting wrestlers. So goofy. Of course he's gonna be Pete Dunne. We all know that. Goodness, how is this news? Fuck, give us something that's actual new. BC, 2 weeks ago, I broke the news that Vince McMahon was backstage at WWE Raw. That was massive news because he had not been backstage at a WWE event in a long time. I broke that 3.5 hours before even Sean Ross Sapp. I made people like Sean Ross Sapp actually go and make his little tweeter. He put out a little tweeter saying, I have my people working on this right now, or I have people looking into this. That was from my story. I was, not just did I break it, I broke it by hours. My people down in Florida had already told me, and I got it double confirmed. I was comfortable enough to be the first one afternoon to tell everybody. 3.5 hours later, Sean Ross broke it. 20 minutes after that, Alvarez and Meltzy and everybody else followed along. That's real news. And I don't even call myself a journalist or a newsbreaker, a reporter. Fuck. That's news. Tell us something that's like, oh shit, are you serious? No. It's somebody who has no inside information. They're not an insider. And I love how they started. Triple H is going to have Pete Dunne come back up from Butch. Butch is going to be Pete Dunne per Triple H. Did Triple H just say this? Triple H is just calling people, hey, by the way, man, yeah, I just want you guys to know, I'm going to be, Butch is going to be Pete Dunne soon. Did creative Numbnuts 612, creative writer Numbnuts 612, creative writer 612 just called up fucking WrestleVotes? Oh, by the way, hey, you listening? You're not being recorded, right? This isn't, okay. Listen, Triple H is bringing Pete Dunne back. No more Butch. It's going to happen in the near future. Triple H has already, it was the top thing at the meeting. WrestleMania is coming around the corner. We got Monday Night Raw. We got the Hall of Fame. We got SmackDown. We got WrestleMania. In the top thing that Triple H wanted to talk about, Butch needs to be Pete Dunne. Creative Writer 365 calls, right? Creative Writer 365 is like, I can confirm Triple H is bringing back Pete Dunne. Obviously. Oh, Maron. It's not even you want to sit on your fucking toilet and say stupid shit, that's fine. The issue I have is the numbnuts in the dirt sheet community actually picks this up as legit information, legit news. Gunther's gonna be going for a world title soon. Butch will be Pete Dunne soon. What's next? Cody and Roman is actually gonna happen at WrestleMania. Thank goodness WrestleVotes told us that. Thank goodness. I didn't know what Montez will one day soon separate from Dawkins. Obviously. There's a chance Big E might not wrestle again. Oh, thanks WrestleVotes for telling us. I didn't know this. Rumor has it Mox might bleed again in AEW. No, not a Mox. Not a Mox match where he's bleeding. Really? Man. WrestleVotes with the breaking news, man. Anyway, guys, you gotta laugh at it, but it's so sad that actually makes the rounds of news, and then reputable fucking sites pick it up. Like, do they stop and say, what the fuck is a WrestleVotes? Have they ever broken real solid informational news? No! You don't even know who the fuck they... What the shit? Just question BS, guys. Question BS. So stupid. I tell ya. The Amplified, man. Much love and respect to all you guys. Salute. Let me a big swig, man, to my entire unit, guys. What a week of content. We're not even done. We got SmackDown's review over the next 24 hours at some point. The review for SmackDown will be coming up. So happy St. Paddy's Day to everybody that celebrates, enjoys it. Maybe you are Irish. Maybe you know somebody that is. Salute. Salute to all you guys. And whether you celebrate it or not, have a kick-ass weekend. And again, within the next 24 hours, I got a big amped up coming for you, the SmackDown review. So just be on the lookout for that, man. Think, be, live, amped always. Top guy, I'm out. Till next time, BC saying, check you later. Salute.